The Protectors of Phandalin. Chapter 1. Between the time when the oceans flowed around the Sea of Swords and the rise of the port of Baldar's Gate, there was an age undreamed of, and unto this, Amos the Destroyer, destined to wear the jewel crown of his people upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure. These fabled chronicles have been passed down through the ages of time and may not be completely accurate, but the heroes and heroines mentioned in the pages are real enough, and what matters is they are remembered for their brave deeds and bold adventures. After defeating the young White Dragon Cryovain that had been terrorising the lands around the Sword Mountains, along with his mother Cryovain, the Protectors of Phandalin are celebrating their success in the Stonehill Inn. The Sorcerer Fairfax Whitbeam is recounting the story of their journey up Icespire Peak, while a female Elf Barbarian, Princess Lady Amastacia, is correcting his exaggerations. The newer members of the party, Tristan, the Dragonborn Druid, and Zaria Cree, a Tiefling Warlock, observe from the shadows, not entirely comfortable in this predominantly human gathering. Brothers-in-arms, Zuh Rek, the mighty Goliath, and Amos the Destroyer stand at the bar, enjoying their drinks and the free hospitality. During the evening, as the Protectors of Phandalin spend time recovering and celebrating, Elmer Barthen finds both Amos and Zuh Rek at the bar. He apologises for interrupting in this time of great celebration, but there is a small matter of an outstanding bill. Of course, he doesn't expect payment right now and is overjoyed at their success, but he still has a business to run. He recalls the list of supplies the party took before setting out, with the promise of payment by gold or prize on their return. It does not take long for his attention to turn to the events of the Sword Mountains and asks for more details. Amos and Zuh Rek spend some time chatting to Elmer, who explains that business is looking up with the extra trade from Wave Echo Cave now that the dragon will no longer pose a threat to the supply shipments. His boys, Ander and Thistle, are making 2 runs a week, and he is in negotiations to broker a deal with some of Pitchwit Wigglefoot's goats. Elmer says it is not an over-exaggeration that his new prosperity is all because of the Protectors of Phandalin. So he picks up his tankard and knocks it against those of Amos and Zuh Rek, then raising it high in the air, toasts the pair, finishes drink in one go and bids them good evening. Chapter 1. The morning arrives with a fresh purpose. Princess Lady Amastacia casts prestidigitation to spruce up the barracks and kindly agrees to make breakfast for all the Protectors of Phandalin, some of which look decidedly worse for wear after an evening of drinking and celebration. Fairfax Whitbeam inquires as to what is on the menu, to which Princess smiles and says that it is one of her own specialities, a full Phandalin. However, she is forced to use garlic butter on the toast as there is no butterskull available, not since Petunia the cow went missing from the ranch. Amos the Destroyer has a beer with his breakfast, and they all sit around the table to plan what to do next. Princess mentions that she bumped into Ander and Thistle from Barthen's Provisions last night. Ander had given her Valine Firecrow's necklace as she had gone missing during the evening, and Ander asked her returned it to Valine. Zaria decides to accompany Princess on this errand to the Line Shield Costa. Fairfax and Tristan need to visit the Miners' Exchange to get the gems recovered from the Dragon Hoard valued, while Amos and Zuh Rek recall that they have to visit Barthen's Provisions to pay off the party debt. Upon visiting the Miners' Exchange, Fairfax and Tristan are greeted by the owner, who carefully inspects the 25 gems that they have in their possession. Unfortunately, most of the hoard is just costume jewellery, with a few family treasures, but there is one quality piece. After they are all valued, they decide to sell them all for the princely sum of 525 gold pieces. Back at Barthen's Provisions, Amos and Zuh Rek enter the store and meet with Elmer again, who they met in the Stonehill Inn last night. Remembering their deal, Amos pulls out a dragon's tooth Zuh Rek retrieved for him from Cryovain, and offers it for payment in full of the party debt. Elmer is delighted with this and explains how he's going to mount it in a display case and hang it on the wall near the entrance of the shop. Seeing how pleased Elmer is with this, Amos offers him a tooth from Cryovain for some additional store credit. Elmer offers 200 gold pieces, but after some negotiation, Amos manages to secure 250 gold pieces of store credit for the party. While Amos is negotiating, Zuh Rek ponders as to the dragon hoard for Cryovain might be, but considering the history of white dragons, they are not a breed of hoarders of treasure, but are more beast-like, so even if the hoard could be found, it might not amount to much. Princess Lady Amastacia, accompanied by Zaria, arrive at the Lion Shield Costa with the intention of returning the necklace that Ander had given her in the Stonehill Inn. Upon ringing the bell for service, Valine Firecrow enters from the back room and is delighted to see her friend. Princess explains that she saw Ander during the celebrations and he had passed on her necklace which he had in his possession last night. Valine blushes and thanks Princess for returning it, immediately putting it back around her neck. Valine mentions that she would like to spend more time with Princess before she goes on her next adventure, and inquires as to who her new friend is, to which Princess introduces Zaria Cree, the newest member of the Protectors of Phandalin. Zaria smiles at Valine, explaining that she was not aware that the party were such heroes, saving the town from the Red Brand ruffians and the dragon threat. They exchange pleasantries and talk about how they could all hang out together, Valine keen to learn from their wisdom. Regrouping outside the Townmaster's Hall, Fairfax Whitbeam distributes the dragon hoard equally among the party, with each receiving 87 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces. The Protectors of Phandalin then enter the building and go down the hall to Sildar Hallwinter's office and inquire about the troubles at the loggers' camp. Overhearing the conversation, Harbin Wester, the Townmaster, enters the room and explains that his brother Tybor has not been seen for some time now. He regularly visits Phandalin to pick up supplies as he gets a better deal than going to the closest settlement of Neverwinter. He requests that the Protectors of Phandalin go north to the loggers' camp to see what has befallen his brother. As the journey ahead is long, Amos the Destroyer asks if there are any horses available. Harbin confirms that there are none in Phandalin, but there is Falcon's Lodge, about 2 days' travel northeast through Neverwinter Wood. Normally you would have been able to purchase horses from Butterskull Ranch, but not since the Orc Raiders had pillaged the place. So, it is decided then, the party would travel to Falcon's Lodge, secure horses, and then continue on to investigate the loggers' camp, to find out what has happened to Tybor Wester. It is a fine spring morning as the Protectors of Phandalin head off along the Tybor Trail to Falcon's Lodge. Oddly, they don't pass a soul during the whole day. As the sun begins to dip, they make camp just off the trail, which they realise is only about 5 miles from the entrance cave to the Underdark. Amos wants to visit the great underground city they had found in the domain of the Drow. Princess also thinks that it would be a great idea, as she thought it looked pretty. Tristan transforms into a wolf for the evening as the rest of the party settle down as best they can. Princess and Fairfax agree to take watch during the night. During the night's watch, Both Princess and Fairfax notice clouds gathering to the west near the Sword Coast, and foul weather looming beyond on the horizon. After an uneventful night, the party head off north into Neverwinter Wood, in the direction of Falcon's Lodge. Tristan transforms into a Blughawk to scout ahead and ensure the rest of the party don't get lost in the dense woods. As they make progress through the wood, dappled sunlight cuts through the trees, with Tristan circling above to guide the way. With the sun getting low in the sky, the protectors of Phandalin arrive at Falcon's hunting lodge. A stone bridge spans the river in front of the lodge, leading to a wooden gatehouse. The whole compound is surrounded by a wooden palisade. As the party head over the bridge, Amos the Destroyer shouts out a greeting, only to see an eye slit slide open in the door to observe them. The barbarian explains that they are from Phandalin on an errand from the townmaster Harbin Wester and seek shelter. The voice of a woman from behind the door is concerned that it is late to be opening up for strangers, but given the explanation, opens the gates. Arriving in a courtyard, the party are greeted by a young man dressed in furs, who introduces himself as Falcon. Amos goes on to explain that they are on their way to the loggers' camp to find out what has become of the townmaster's brother, Tybor. With that, Falcon says that Tybor is here, staying in the lodge, and could be found in a dormitory. The party ask for safe lodgings for the night, to which Falcon offers them accommodation in the dormitory. Princess Lady Amastacia, known for her love of luxury, asks if there are any separate rooms, to which she is offered a room upstairs in the main house for 3 gold pieces. She hands the woman 5 gold pieces to more than cover the cost of the room, and is shown to her quarters for the evening. The rest of the party go across to the dormitory, and are met by a man inside who looks up and comments that there are now more guests at the Falcon hunting lodge. Amos says that they are the protectors of Phandalin, and have been sent by Harbin Wester to find his brother. The stranger acknowledges this, and confirms that he is indeed Tybor Wester. He goes on to say that he barely escaped from the logging camp with his life, as creatures came up from the ground and took most of his workers. With teeth and claw they were ripped to shreds and taken back down underground. Tristan and Zaria listen to the details intently, but nothing in their history has come close to sounding like this. What could they be? Tybor would be grateful if the protectors of Phandalin could return to the camp with him and find out what has befallen his workers. Amos asks how grateful, to which Fairfax Whitbeam chastises the barbarian and says why can't he just do something to help without reward. If that's what Fairfax wants, then Amos agrees. After storing their equipment in the dormitory, the party head back over to the main building to get some food and drink. They meet the woman again, who is cooking supper over a large fire. Amos asks her name and she replies Corwin. There is a good eating at the lodge, with plenty of meat and ale, which is what you would expect from a hunting lodge. Amos asks if there are any horses for sale, as they would be very useful to get to the loggers' camp. Considering this request, Falcon invites them all to eat their fill first before discussing business. He just wishes he had some wine. Amos, remembering the halfling fine wine he received from an earlier encounter, offers this to Falcon as a way of lubricating the deal. Normally Falcon does not sell his hunting horses, but with the gift of fine wine, and they are the protectors of Phandalin, he is happy to sell a horse to each of the party members. Pell, the stable boy, will get the horses ready in the morning. It is getting late, so Princess tips Corwin with 1 gold piece and heads upstairs to sleep in a large comfortable bed with quality sheets, while the rest of the party return to the dormitory. There is no need to set guards for the night, as they are safe inside the walls of the hunting lodge. As the sun comes up in the morning, the party eat a light breakfast and prepare for the journey to the loggers' camp. The price of only 50 gold pieces is agreed for each horse. Falcon even throws in a few bags of feed and a good quality saddle. Tristan decides not to take up the generous offer, as he sees no need for a horse, as he transforms into a warhorse. They all set off on horseback, following the river next to the hunting lodge, which will take them all the way to the loggers' camp. Princess decides to name her horse Lady Sparkles, which prompts other members of the party to name their horses too. Fairfax thinks the name Fluttershy would be appropriate for his, while Zuh Rek names his horse Scootaloo. Amos simply calls his horse. With Tybor giving directions, the party make good time along the riverbank to the loggers' camp, following the train that is dappled in the morning sunlight. Arriving at the camp by afternoon, it appears to be deserted. There are various tents and logging equipment scattered around the camp, with piles of cut logs ready for transport. Looking closer, the party sees strange holes in the ground. Tying their horses to a nearby tree, Zuh Rek and Fairfax cautiously move forward to investigate the closest hole. It appears that it is an eruption point, and something certainly came out of it from under the ground. Taking out a torch, Zuh Rek asks Fairfax to cast light on it as he throws it down the hole to get a better look and determine how deep it is. Immediately they hear a cry from a creature below. He looks back at the rest of the party, and seeing Tristan still transformed as a warhorse, tells him to stop horsing around. With this, a large creature runs around the tents to the north and lets out a vile screech. Seeing Zaria, it stabs at her with its razor-sharp claws. Being a tiefling, Zaria recognised these as Kruthiks, created by the ancient Tiefling Empire as living siege weapons, impossible to control. They became one of the greatest threats to the subterranean civilizations of the Underdark. Princess, seeing the creature attack Zaria, goes into a rage and, pulling out her blood axe, hits it twice as black and pink glitter streams from the handle of her magical weapon. Initially startled, Zaria casts Flame Blade and also hits the Kruthik, the blade scorching its chitin hide. Fairfax and Zuh Rek, keen to get into the battle, both attack, with the Sorcerer casting Chromatic Orb and the Goliath swinging the mighty Lightbringer mace, but in their haste they both miss their target. Seeing his friends in trouble, Amos the Destroyer rides forward on his horse, and with one well-aimed blow from his great axe, critically hits the creature, stopping it dead in its tracks. But the battle is far from over. Another Kruthek appears from behind the tents and flicks a number of sharp spikes from its body at Amos for killing one of its group. A third appears from the hole Fairfax and Zuh Rek were standing next to and attacks Zuh Rek, while a fourth crawls out and stabs Fairfax with its long scythe-like limbs. Tristan, still in the form of a warhorse, charges at the Kruthek that attacked Zuh Rek. The impact knocks the creature prone, as he then proceeds to trample the insect under hoof. Yet another Kruthek appears and attacks Princess. They have certainly stumbled across a large nest of these insect-like creatures. The largest of the group rears up and sprays Princess and Zaria with an acid blast. They are both taken by surprise and take burning damage from this vile form of attack. Tybor, fearing that the party will be overrun and killed by these creatures, runs into the woods, shouting and screaming that they will kill us all. Princess, still in a rage, tries to shield Zaria from the smaller Kruthik and swings at the one that just sprayed her in acid with her magical blood axe, critically wounding the creature. Zaria, badly hurt from the acid attack, also moves towards the larger one with her flame blade in hand and casts Bestowed Curse. Although the flame blade disappears as she concentrates on this new spell, the curse causes the large adult Kruthik to stop in its tracks. Fairfax Whitbeam, recovering from the initial attack, casts Shocking Grasp, but still manages to miss the Kruthik, which has crawled out of the nearest hole. So Zuh Rek, using his shield mastery, manages to shove the Cruthiek, attacking him back down the hole, and then with his next action he surges forwards towards the creature, attacking the unarmoured sorcerer. Seeing his friend Fairfax surrounded by two of the creatures, Amos the Destroyer goes into a rage and charges at the Cruthiek, stabbing Fairfax. He critically hits the creature with his great axe, killing it with just 2 swings. Then in a frenzy he turns to attack the larger Cruthiek, attacking Princess and Zaria. Relentlessly, the young Cruthiek shoots more spines at Zuh Rek as the one he shoves climbs back out of the hole to stab Fairfax again. This time, Fairfax raises his staff of defence and deflects the blow. Meanwhile, Tristan continues his charge as a warhorse and smashes into the adult Cruthiek towards the rear of the group. The younger ones try to stab him opportunistically as he passes by, but their attempts are in vain as he knocks the other adult creature prone to the ground, again trampling it under hoof. The younger Cruthiek now revert to pack tactics and manage to overwhelm Princess as long scythes cut into her, but as a barbarian she shows little concern for these insignificant slashing wounds. Still cursed, the adult Cruthiek next to Princess uses its strong wisdom to momentarily break the spell and lash out with his serrated mandibles, while the other adult stands back to its feet and lashes out at the warhorse that has just knocked him over. Princess takes another reckless swing at the adult Cruthiek in front of her, the blood axe in her hand critically wounding the creature as she continues to try and shield Zaria. Still badly hurt, Zaria Cree casts Witch Bolt, but the beam of crackling blue energy misses the creature in a disadvantaged state. Seeing the 2 females of the group in trouble, Fairfax Whitbeam uses his staff of defence to move out of range of the young Cruthiek attacking him, and casts aid on Princess and Zaria, along with Amos. This spell has the effect of temporarily healing some of the damage they have taken. The protectors of Phandalin seem to have rallied. With Zuh Rek on cleanup duty, he heads towards the creature that just crawled back out of the hole, as Amos scores 3 solid hits with his great axe on the adult Cruthiek, all the while protecting Fairfax from any possible counterattack. The other adult Cruthiek lashes out at the warhorse, causing enough damage to force Tristan to revert back to his Dragonborn form, to which the creature looks startled. Taking advantage, Tristan casts Conjure Animals as 8 giant wolf spiders surround the remaining Cruthieks. Their attacks overwhelm the creatures and the spiders' poisonous fangs deplete the Cruthiek's constitution. In a desperate attempt to fight back, the remaining adult Cruthiek sprays acid at a number of the wolf spiders in addition to Tristan, who subsequently loses concentration, causing the spiders to disappear. Princess finishes off the adult Cruthiek with her blood axe as Zaria casts Eldritch Blast. Fairfax Whitbeam now seizes the opportunity and casts Fireball, which badly burns the last remaining adult Cruthiek. As Amos and Zuh Rek move in for the kill, the death blow comes from Tristan, who, casting Blight, watches the foul creature shrivel up with necrotic damage. The remaining young Cruthiek bolts for the nearest hole to escape, but Princess chases it down with her blood axe, separating the creature's head from its chitin body as pink and black glitter fills the air. The battle is over, but are there any more Cruthiek lurking in the ground underneath their feet? Amos the Destroyer has a feeling that this is not over yet.